Hello, Newburgh. Thank you for joining the Environmental Justice Fellowship webinar. I'm Ronald with Outdoor Promise. I'm really excited about our community leaders that have joined us today to talk about environmental justice and the need for trees in the city of Newburgh. Welcome you. This is an interactive webinar, so feel free to ask questions on the comments and we'll have our panelists answer them throughout. I'm going to pass it on to one of our environmental justice fellows, Ameesah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ameesah, one of the 4 environmental justice fellows. And thank you for joining again. I'm really happy to have everyone here. So just a brief introduction of what the Environmental Justice Fellowship is. It's a 7-month program where we are, as a collective, learning about and trying to educate the residents of Newburgh on street trees. We're also looking to provide and through that, we're also talking about the social, economic, and public health benefits of street trees. We know that through our work, we have discovered that that replacing 4,000 street trees requires a lot of work, of course. And thankfully, today we have a lot of people in Newburgh who are collaborating and looking to make an effort to change that, of course. So through our work, we have grown a pretty large network and where people are supporting us and inspiring us to be better. And through our work, we have found that the residents of Newburgh are also looking to get the trees that were once here back and healthy and replenished. Just a brief introduction about myself. I am a NFA Newburgh Free Academy alumna, and I did graduate in class of 2020, so very recent. I was a two-sport athlete on both the volleyball teams and the basketball team, so very involved in my community. And now I'm in college, a college junior, and I'm studying public health. And through that work and through my schoolwork, I've learned that that there's a very big intersection between the two. So like there's many benefits of street trees, and I've learned that there's a lot of risk factors that inspire more that excuse me, I'm sorry. I've learned that the street trees in Newburgh have affect people socially, economically, and environmentally. So without further ado, I'd like to pass it on to Kat, who is another environmental justice fellow.
Thanks, Ameesah. Hi, everyone. My name is Kat. Like Ameesah said, I am also one of the Environmental Justice Fellows. I was born in the Bronx, but I did grow up here in Newburgh. I am a dancer, and I am really into plants. Over the last, I guess, year and a half now, I've just been learning everything I can about anything green, really. I think that green spaces are super important to our existence, our physical and our mental well-being. They've definitely supported me a lot through, this whole pandemic we're going through, especially in urban spaces like the city of Newburgh. It's like even more important that we are intentional with our green spaces. So I'm really happy to be here doing this work with all these wonderful people. Like our guests, who I would like to introduce now, if that's all right. So first, I'd like to introduce Giselle Martinez. Welcome, Giselle. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I am a lifelong resident of the city of Newburgh, and I think that the work that, so sorry. So sorry about that, technical difficulties. I think that the work that the Environmental Justice Fellows, that the Greater Newburgh Parks Conservancy Board are doing is very important, especially like in cities like Newburgh. as a lifelong member here, I have become a part of several different boards and committees, including running for office here. And I am dedicated to making sure that we expand greener spaces here where our residents can really fully enjoy clean air, which is a basic necessity, and also learn about the importance of our environment and why, like we're in a climate crisis right now, and I feel like so many people are not taking it serious. And the people that have to pay the price are usually the youth. And so anything that we can do to help is greatly appreciated.
Yes, the climate crisis definitely even more important, always becoming more urgent that we invest in these spaces now for the future. So thank you so much, Giselle. Next, we have Ali Muhammed. Welcome, Ali. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here and to be working with you in the fellowship. Giselle hit it on the head, right? You guys are all correct. It's the youth. A youthless movement is a useless movement. And I remember hearing President Obama, flaws and all, he's the one that said, we're the first generation at the time, we're the first generation to be able to do something about climate change, and we're the last generation to be able to do something about climate change. Whether he was right or wrong, it was the first time I heard somebody really say that. I don't know if people remember Al Gore. And what if, right? Where's the movie of the shows? What would have happened if Al Gore, we just listened? And so I'm actively engaged in my city as a 33-year-old. I spent my 20s learning about ways that can improve people's quality of life, understanding that quality of life isn't actually an individual, is relative to the individual, which means you have to connect with each person. And so it's so important to meet people where they are. Environmental justice is racial justice. And I truly believe something as simple as planting a tree could save lives. If trees were planted in the right neighborhoods, in the right areas, they could provide fruit, they could provide oxygen, they could provide shade. And so I'm so grateful that the city of Newburgh and others have decided to work with you ladies in this fellowship, so that way, hopefully the next several generations can receive benefits like we will from this. I'm happy to be here.
Yes, thank you. I know there's the quote that men become wise when they plant trees whose shade they will never see or be in, whichever the quote is, but definitely got to plant them now because trees take a long time to grow. So next we have Kyle Conway. Welcome, Kyle. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. My name is Kyle Conway. I am the first vice president of the local Newburgh Highland Falls NAACP branch. Everyone has given excellent descriptions about your efforts, your endeavors, and I support it. Trees are one of my favorite things in the world. You think about what they do, how they contribute, how they take in the bad and give us the good. You think about the length of life. Trees are, if you think about it, legendary living things, and just because they don't speak doesn't mean they don't speak volumes or speak life into us in the way they do. And I definitely support trees planted in urban places. It definitely provides, and everyone hit it on the nail with, they contribute definitely oxygen. They definitely help clean up the smog that would be in an urban setting. Aesthetically, I believe there's a quote that said, it's hard for a man to meditate with a four corners meet, or it's hard for a person to meditate in the middle of an urban environment. But the peace that trees provide, again, the quality of life, their purpose, I think is such a metaphor. And there's something simply beautiful about them. in the right place and in the right neighborhoods. And each neighborhood deserves to have this life that trees offer. And I'm definitely excited to participate in the change and fight for environmental justice, because the Mother Earth is speaking, and Mother Earth wants change, and we need to do our part. Planting trees is definitely a great start.
Definitely. Thank you. I personally do feel like trees are our elders. You know, they've been here a lot longer than we have, and they will be here long after we are gone. I hope is the hope. So, last but certainly not least, Genie Abrams. Welcome, Genie.
Thank you. It's great to be here. I appreciate your having me. You know, as a European American, I've been the beneficiary of so many privileges that my fellow Newburghers have not, and I've been very aware of that all my life. These privileges meant that I was well fed, well housed, well educated, well treated, well respected. I did not earn these benefits and these privileges. I was born this way. I'm white. So I just, because of my Jewish upbringing, I've been very much committed to justice in my community all my life. And so now the question becomes, how do I make it right? Or how do I make my benefits expand into the rest of the community and the rest of my neighbors? So I just feel that no progress at all can be made by any people of any color without good health. So that is why, having learned more and more recently that trees are the key to good health for us in so many ways: physical health, social health, psychological health, it inspired me to join the Conservation Advisory Council and really put my energies behind expanding the benefits of good health to everybody in Newburgh. And that's why environmental justice, making our city greener and healthier for everybody, has become my passion.
Thank you so much, Genie. And Genie is out with us everywhere we go, doing everything she can to help support the fellowship and environmental justice, and really doing that work. She's an example for us all. So I think we're going to move on to our first question with Ameesah. Oh, everybody's popping up. Hey, y'all. What's up? Right, Ameesah, I'll leave that to you.
Technical difficulties. I think everyone can hear me now, right? Okay. Okay, so from very recently, Ali, they had collaborated and fellows on one of our canvassings, and it's important to hear from the community. So of course, again, I encourage everyone in the live to submit a survey if you whenever you can. And for Ali, this is a question for Ali and any other panelists who are welcome to answer, of course. And Ali, to you, can you please share why it to have our community's voices and why Burger full of minutes to fill out the survey?
So I'm glad that I came prepared to this meeting. I really do feel like someone who enjoys movies and films. This is like, we're just in, I don't know, an adaptation of some type of classroom in the future. and it's kind of cool. I guess this is what the students are dealing with this past year. What am I talking about? Sorry for that tangent. Can you hear me? Did you hear that silly story? All right. So the importance is to meet folks where they are, I believe. I said that earlier, and I've really been trying to hone in on that over the past couple of years, because this work that we do is, it's not politics. It's kind of governmental, but it's human. It's human service. We're servant leaders, and we're trying to provide information to folks that are not. They don't have access to it. I had someone ask me that once, what's access mean? And the more I thought about what they had said to me, they were just trying to see if I could articulate what I meant by providing access. Some people don't realize what that means, and some people don't have Wi-Fi. They aren't tapped into the Facebook group that we're tapped into. They don't know where their next meal is coming from. We live in a food desert. And so the fact is, we have to go to people's housing. I always say there's 7,800 people living below the poverty line in the city of Newburgh. There's 29,000 people living here. A quarter of our population is living below the poverty line. It's unacceptable. We have to be able to reach those folks, because if we truly want to help them and serve them or assist them or connect the dots for them or improve our neighbors' lives, the quality of life thing, then we have to get their answers for things. We can't speak for them. Genie graciously said she's white. Well, I'm black. I'm a black man, and as a male, I've received different privileges than women have. And since I had both parents in my life, I have a different life and privilege than other people have. I don't have a lot of money, but I have a lot of this and that. So I accept the fact that we can be here and knocking on those doors with you guys, or with the other two fellows. Hearing Genie engage with another community organizer about the bags on the trees, I learned. I like to make films. I like to let people know about things. So it's important for us to be there, to be present, and get that information. And that's exactly what we did. Specifically, we went to Kenny Court, low-income housing next to the Armory, and we knocked on doors, and we passed out the survey, and we spoke with folks. And now I'm sure you guys are over 100 surveys collected, and that's real people. That's real people informing us on what they want, which is so important than 5 people or 2 people in a room, or how government often works. 3 men, white old men in a room deciding what's going to happen to our lives. So I think that's the importance of it. Sorry to belabor the point, but thank you for asking.
Thank you so much, Ali. I'm just going to facilitate a little bit because our sound is a little choppy with Ameesah. Does anybody else have any thoughts they want to share on why making sure the community voices are heard is important to them?
Yes, I would like to add a little bit to Ali's point, which is that on a very practical level, people should take a couple of minutes to fill out the form, because we want to know who and where these trees are wanted, who they're wanted by, and where they should be planted. The culmination of this environmental justice fellowship will be the planting of trees in each of the wards of Newburgh. And so please, Newburghers, fill out those forms and let us know if you do, or even if you do not want a tree. It's important for us to know why and why not, and maybe what kind of tree. And meanwhile, as the fellows go around talking with you, answer your door and get involved with them, because they're just wonderful young ladies, and they'll help you to understand the importance of trees too.
I also like to add, it is important for people to answer the survey, or to receive people who are trying to explain the importance of environmental, or understanding your environmental, how the environment impacts you. It's we often hear there in certain communities there's a thing of hopelessness, and when people are walking around and trying to service, it's important to receive them, and it's important to participate. And then as a community, we can learn that there is hope. As Ali said, we have to meet people where they are. And it's not just a physical thing, right? We're taking, as people who want to serve, we're taking steps towards you. and we're taking friendly steps, peaceful steps. So I think it's important as people who want to serve to show that we're here and we are relentless about serving. And hopefully that impacts the culture and the perception of how non-governmental organizations or people can make an impact on their environment, literally their environment.
Yes, please fill out a survey. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell all the people. We are trying to create a community of tree stewardship. Like being able to walk around outside Newburgh without like dying of the heat in the summertime would be, I mean, it makes a big difference. I think everybody can agree. It improves everything in your life, even in ways that like we don't even fully understand how trees interact with everything. But yeah, hold on one second. Okay. Moving on to our next question, if that's all right. Thank you all. Giselle, this is for you, and anybody who would like to jump in. But starting with Giselle. You are so involved with community cleanups and the fight against dance commerce. I think I said that right. I'm not sure. Why do you think our community should consider planting trees in the neighborhood?
So that's a great question. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit of feedback. So I think that it's super important for our community to consider planting trees because I don't think people are aware of all the benefits that it brings, and I know that a lot of people have already mentioned it. But again, it reduces crime in our neighborhoods. It provides shade. It provides a lot of like reduces the air pollution in our community. But aside from that, I think that sometimes we're made to feel like we don't deserve to live in a nice looking neighborhood. A lot of the people that I've spoken to, and including my own experiences living in the city of Newburgh, so many people feel like we're not deserving of, having nicely paved streets, nicely paved sidewalks, or I mean just nice sidewalks in general. And it plays a part in how we treat our own community. Many people, I'm involved in these cleanups, for example, with Melanin Unchained, with Ali, and especially with Downing Park and Outdoor Promise. They've also organized cleanups because our community has felt for the longest time neglected, at least on my end, in my own personal experience. And when you feel like that, you don't take care of your community. So many people feel like, what's the point if we're going to continue being treated as like we're not important? The reason I fight against scammer is because this is a power plant that is contaminating our air, and cities like Newburgh are already disproportionately discriminated against, with environmental racism. And we have to, fight for clean water. We have to fight for clean air. Why is it that we have to fight to survive, and ask for basic rights? So something as simple as planting trees in our community, it's monumental. It's a necessity. Again, I wanted to also talk about a little bit about why we should just consider expanding like the greener space in our community. I think that a lot of the times we forget that, I mentioned it earlier, we are in a climate crisis. We won't have a neighborhood, we won't have a planet to take care of if we don't take the steps necessary now. Everybody believes that what is me planting one tree going to do? It's not going to change anything on a global scale, and that could be further from the truth. I think that it takes initiatives like these. It takes people like our environmental justice fellows, like all their hard work that they're doing. They're reaching out to us and they're asking us. They're having a conversation with us in the community. And so this is a team effort. It's going to take everyone, and it's going to require us educating our peers, educating our neighbors, our family on the importance of something as simple as planting trees, as simple as participating in neighborhood cleanups, keeping our neighborhoods clean, reducing as much pollution as we can. And so I am very proud again of our fellows, of everyone that's involved in doing their part and helping improve our community, because at the end of the day, it's going to take a whole village. So
I second what Ms. Martinez said.
Yes, that is what you spoke about is brilliant. It sheds light on essentially the mental health that trees provide. You know, when you're around conditions that don't promote a sense of community, a sense of worth, it's hard to embrace your community. But having great scenery and the other benefits from trees, I think it gives a sense of, I'm a part of something great. My community is great. This comedian once said, if you ever walk in someone's house and it's a mess, you further mess it up because you want them to clean it up. You're not going to respect it. But if you walk in someone's house and it's pristine, you start helping them clean because you see the standard that's there. So I think planting trees is definitely part of that process. And again, I think it also, if we have organizations outside of the government making a difference, and I keep it, you know, one tree planted by one person makes a difference. It's like also focusing on local politics. You know, we keep focusing on, we all get excited about the presidential campaign. But as I keep saying, if you want change in your local community, local politics will give you more bang for your buck. Same thing with planting trees. You want to make a difference. Besides cleaning up on our own, let's plant trees and let the community maintain them if the government can't help us with it, because we care about living in a clean and great scenic place. So I second that. I third that.
Genie, you're muted. Yeah.
Okay.
How about now? How we doing? Is this better? Sorry. And all I was going to just add was what the folks have just said was that reminded me of these Chinese expression. You know, when they say, well, gee, how is planting one tree going to cure global warming? That a journey of 1,000 miles begins with one single step. Plant that one tree, see what happens.
We have a question from our community member, Nick Edward, and I'll put it on the screen for the panelists.
I would say Ward 1. I would say Broadway, Southlanders. Ward 3 is Delano Hitch Stadium, you know, in my opinion. But the fellows, we had a couple of fellows on the call and other people that could say that, but I would say definitely Wards 1 and 3.
And I would say we're going to find out by when we analyze the data that the fellows are collecting for us. Also, a very good point is that we're not looking for just where they're needed, but also who's going to take care of them. Because anybody can say, well, I would love to have a tree outside my house. A lot of people would, but a lot of people don't have the energy, the time, the wherewithal to go out and keep that tree watered at 15 gallons per week for the first 3 years. And that's what has to happen with new trees.
So cool little anecdote. The former mayor of Beacon used to get up every morning or whenever, it was time to water the trees, and he would water the trees on Main Street, and so I don't know what the city of Newburgh has or not, but it would be interesting because it is a responsibility. It's an important responsibility. And so moving forward, down the road, it would be interesting to see if that could potentially be a budgeted position. So that way we don't put that burden on a taxpayer, but it's a service that taxpayers are paying for. You feel me?
I would love to do that job personally. Yeah, does anybody have anything else they would like to add to that?
I think when you say people would love to have a tree outside their house, but they don't have the energy or what have you, I think when there's love, there's a way. And I'm really being a part of the organization I'm with and satelliting other community organizations. There's a way. And I think we can't wait for the government to save us. We have to take care of us. And I think it's a culture that we need to start promoting. It is logical, some people may not have the time, but there's 29,000 people here, 15 gallons once a week, 52 weeks. It can't be done. Just saying.
It is more than possible. Thank you so much for saying that. Ameesah is back with us in a new setting. Welcome back, Ameesah. Can you hear me? No? Are you frozen again? Ooh. Okay, so Ameesah's gone again, unfortunately. So I will move forward with the next question, which is starting with Kyle. Hi, Kyle. Now, I was not there. Oh, this day, was I? At the farmer's market. I guess I did meet you. I'm so sorry. So we met while... I think I was at a different end of the farmer's market than where you were, to be honest. But we met you while you were volunteering this past June for the Orange County Sanitation Rain Barrel and Compost Bin distribution in honor of Earth Day, which is an amazing thing. Compost bins, I started composting this year. It's been hard, but I'm doing it. It's happening, and it makes me feel better about my garbage. So as a member of the NAACP, where do you see the intersection between racial justice and environmental justice?
The intersection is about making sure people have the inalienable right to quality air, quality food, quality environment, and quality environmental conditions. And unfortunately, it is those who are in the poorer class so more impacted because these toxic facilities are usually about 30 miles around where Black people live. So it really is about providing the intersection is, unfortunately, it's about gathering enough voices to make enough noise and saying it's a humanitarian issue. The intersection happens where you think about the Black migration from the South. They moved up to where the factories were in the North, in urban settings. Those jobs left. Places like Newburgh have had this experience. And now a bustling town that had great economic opportunities locally, they don't have that anymore. And to get jobs that's a transportation issue. That's another talk show. And 1/3 of Black people are impoverished. So it naturally starts to become a race issue or a class issue. And it's up to the people in our class to say, in that class to say, we demand access to quality air, quality food, quality water. Locally, the NAACP has partnered with the RAC and other environmental watchdogs groups to talk about our drinking water issue. And if it's not even a drinking water issue, we all know how rain works. It's evaporated, goes into the clouds and rain and comes down on us. And the PFAS, which is a forever chemical, we want people to have access to quality life. And that chemical the environment can't break it down. It stays within our organs. It causes cancer, thyroid issues, plethora of things. And you can kind of see in real time, I can see in real time how the intersection between environmental injustice and racial injustice exists when there's an issue in a predominantly black town and there's a call for action and people are slow to act. If the call isn't persistent, if the call isn't fueled by a machine or people who support the machine, if you will. So the NAACP has made a lot of calls, a lot of demands, like in regards to the lead and copper rule, for example. President Trump put legislation that required people to report faster the lead in the water, but allowed companies or what have you take the time to report on it. So it's an imbalance. The NAACP is highly concerned about that. There's been suing for quality water, and all these events happen around where brown people live. And again, when a third of 13% of the population are poor, this is also poor other people experiences. We have Hoosick Falls, for example. In a lot of places with the military, the PFAS issue we have here at Stewart is the same issue we have at hundreds of sites around the country, and a lot of people are impacted. But again, majority of the time, it is people who look like me. So the intersection is the the proximity our people are to these toxic plants. You have Dan Scammer, you have CPV, the Waving Island, which actually impacts Middletown, which is where the poor live, right? Or the underclass. So we know where it exists, but now we can complain, or we can jump in the game and try and get that change.
Bless you.
Thank you. Thank you. I would just add to the good brother's strong point. He mentioned, because intersectionality matters. So we mentioned disproportionately marginalized folks, Black and brown folks, folks that are living below the poverty line. In that same realm, you've got seniors. That's Black and brown seniors, that's white seniors, but these are people that are on fixed incomes. Now you're dealing with people that are maybe immigrants to the community across the color spectrum. And these are the people that are affected. So it's basically the government or the people, well, let's not get into that, but these are the people that are expendable. And so it becomes an intersectional movement, an issue, because it affects so many people. I haven't mentioned the LGBTQ yet. And there's LGBTQ seniors, LGBTQ Black and brown folks, white folks, poor folks, rich folks. And so it becomes even more intersectional, right? You still have some folks that might have a degree, but they're still dealing with these issues because our middle class are living very close to these low income housing quite often. So it's an intersectional thing. And just to give big credits to the NAACP, which is the National Advancement for Colored People, which has been around for so long, right? So you've got such an anchor institution. Somebody like Kyle, he's in his prime right now, working with that organization and working with us. And with this fellowship, we know how important it is, right? Because if you get the right organizations working with you, no matter what, they're going to get the right people involved because of that name. Startup organizations is one thing and it's important. Fellowships are a big thing. The fact that, again, that they're spending money on this is important. And if more and more people realize how it affects us all, we'll continue to shift. We're shaking rooms right now. We're shifting the culture. It's a beautiful thing. So thanks.
Thank you. And thank you all for being so supportive of us as we're trying to, learn the ropes of hoping to be community leaders, and making our city a happier, healthier, greener, hopefully place. I really appreciate it. Yes, Kyle.
You said hopefully about being a leader. You're a leader because you choose to be. And a lot of times you're a leader because you're called to be. People want to be led. A lot of people want to do something, but they don't know how to do it. They don't know what direction to go in. And when you have the heart to lead because you know that people need to be serviced. To be a leader is to serve. You can't be a good leader unless you're a good follower. And that means actually coming up in rank and also having a pulse on the people who follow you. And I'm saying to you, you're not shy, you're on camera, you're not doing the socially probably acceptable thing or standard thing. You're already leading because you lead yourself. Language is important. You don't say hope. It's okay to say, I am a leader. It's okay.
Manifesting, being, all of that right now. Thank you so much. Thank you. So our
Oh, I'm so sorry. I actually wanted to see if I could add something, jumping off of what Kyle and Ali were saying, which was on point. I just wanted to add again that it's not a coincidence that these big corporations are in our neighborhoods. It's not a coincidence that, our race, specifically for Black and Brown folks, and specifically for lower income communities that are being taken advantage of. We're in vulnerable situations, and they know that a lot of us, regardless of what the issue is, it's almost like a privilege to be able to know this knowledge, to have this knowledge. People work hard every single day to put food on the table for their families. They don't have the luxury of, um, coming to these meetings sometimes because they work full time. They have to take care of their children, live paycheck to paycheck. And so again, I think that it's not just race, it's not just our socioeconomics, it's just, again, a matter of privilege and what we do with that. And so I think that even though, for example, like I grew up here and my situation wasn't always the best, I do feel some kind of responsibility for, I have this knowledge and now it's my turn to help spread that out because it's just, they take advantage of us, not having the resources to fight back. And so this is one way to make sure that we're doing our part in saving our community.
Yes, thank you so much, Giselle. We have to take care of us. It blows my mind that the environment outside is something that we even have to worry about. I mean, people, like you said, often don't have the luxury of doing the kind of work that we're doing because they have so many other things, all these intersectional issues, everything is intertwined with everything. Could spend forever and trying to figure it out. But yeah, thank you so much. And now our last question for Genie and anyone else who would like to jump in, of course. But Genie, you were born and raised in Newburgh. what changes have you seen in your lifetime?
Well, I've seen plenty of highs and lows in my 72 years, Kat. And I want to start with one of the worst of the lows. I'll try to stick to the environmental disasters, although these are often very closely related to the political and policy-making disasters that Newburgh has gone through. About 50% of street trees planted in any given year are dead 13 to 20 years later. Every city loses its newly planted trees at that rate. Why? Cars hit them, car doors bash them, road salt is sprayed on their root systems. Children throw trash on the ground near their trunks, impairing the ability of rain to reach their roots. Dogs pee and defecate on them. And kids break off their young branches, whether intentionally or not, while playing. But again, Newburgh is not unique in losing so many of its trees to these causes. Street trees in every city share that same extremely high mortality rate. But here's what's unique about Newburgh. Newburgh suffered for decades from a uniquely huge lack of understanding, funding, and political will. Some cities budget adequately to replace dead trees every year, so new trees are constantly appearing on their tree lawns. Newburgh for many years did not have the funding to replace their dead trees. And our city council did not understand that trees reduce the rates of asthma and other chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, that they sequester carbon dioxide, that they calm traffic, and they offer so many other benefits other than shade and beauty, which we all know about. So the council never prioritized tree planting and didn't budget for it. There, I said it. As a result, Newburgh today is down 4,000 trees. There are 4,000 empty tree pits, that is, where trees once stood but stand no more. But here's the good news. I have seen in recent years an influx of concerned, committed Newburghers who want to make a difference. Well, the NAACP has been around for over 100 years, promoting justice for people of color. But now we have Melanin Unchained. We have the Newburgh Urban Farm and Food Initiative. We have Sanctuary with its peaceful garden at Crystal Lake. We have the Newburgh Armory Unity Center, the Department of Small Interventions, promoting a healthier city. And near and dear to my heart, the Greater Newburgh Parks Conservancy, whose very mission is to plan, protect, and preserve green spaces in Newburgh, an outdoor promise, focusing on getting the next generation outside to appreciate and celebrate nature. Our mutual goal, no child left inside. The Parks Conservancy and Outdoor Promise teamed up with the city's Conservation Advisory Council to apply for and win this environmental justice grant, one of just 10 awarded in all of North America. And finally, we now have a city council and top city staff that get it. They get that to be healthy, a city needs to get its trees back. And our city's finances now seem to be on track to do that. This is going to make all the difference in the world. You, my friends, are going to make all the difference in the world. So to end on an upbeat note, I'm happy and I'm grateful to my fellow Newburghers for your passion for environmental justice. And I do believe that we're headed for a greener and healthier city.
Thank you so much, Genie. Does anybody have anything that they would like to tack on there?
I second that. You dropped the mic. What else can we say? That was great. That was excellent.
I would like to third that. Touch my heart. Touch my heart.
Done good.
And I would definitely say, I've been saying this lately with two things. One, we do politics, because it impacts policy, which impacts behavior, which impacts culture. And if we have such a people at the helm impacting policy that understands the importance of taking care of the environment, we're all going to benefit. Actually, I forgot what I was going to say, but because what you said was so powerful, I just came to think straight. It just hit my heart. My heart. Appreciate you.
I would like to add that green infrastructure, rain gardens, trees, like roof gardens, all of that stuff has always been it, and is only going to become more of the thing that we need to be investing in. Always, for always. So I want to thank you all for being here and working with us to make that more of a thing. And thank you to everybody who is watching now live and maybe watching in the future, because the internet is a thing. Does anybody have anything they would like to say before I move to our partner organization message? No? We're okay? All right. Thank y'all. Now I've returned. So now here's a short message from our partner organizations. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you so much.
On behalf of the Greater Newburgh Parks Conservancy, Outdoor Promise, and the Conservation Advisory Council, I'm very happy to express our thanks to the Arbor Day Foundation and TD Bank for their Green Space Grant Program and their support of our collaborative Environmental Justice Fellowship. We deeply appreciate that they understand the importance of public-private partnership, community involvement, and the engagement of diverse stakeholders. We are most grateful to them for supporting our approach to centering our work on environmental justice strategies, BIPOC leadership, peer-to-peer community engagement, and equitable access to urban trees. We are proud partners of the Arbor Day Foundation and hope that our fellowship, made possible this year in partnership with the Arbor Day Foundation and TD Bank, will become an ongoing year-round program in support of equity, green space, and urban forestry in the city of Newburgh.